This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening and welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. And I just want to follow up pretty much what I was commenting about on Mark Spector's take on the Oilers and how they really haven't done much to improve defensively, goaltending wise this offseason. And that got me thinking, man, you know what? End of the day, let's go take a second, go back to October 2nd, so about 13 months ago, and see just how much the Edmonton Oilers have improved over their opening night lineup. Yeah, I think that's a good little thing to do, right? We have to see where we are now, so let me just quickly capture something here for you off of my own YouTube channel. Yeah, Dolynny TV, going through the Dolynny TV archives, some inception happening there, but October 2nd, versus Canucks. Yeah, why am I even titling that October 2nd? That's October 2nd, 2019, may I add, long before any realities we've since found ourselves in. However, let me just quickly go and play this right here. So that was the September 30th practice lines, all right? That was what we were rolling September 2nd or September 30th, before October 2nd, against the Vancouver Canucks to open the 2019-2020 NHL season. Jurco, Neal, Nygaard, Draisaitl, Kassian. What am I doing with the background here? Hold on, let me fix that. I get distracted. Captain distraction. Kara, yeah, Colby Cave was in the opening night lineup. Archibald, Haas, Patrick Russell out there. Granlund, Nugent Hopkins, Chiasson. There were some injuries. I believe. Who was injured? Somebody was injured at that point. But we'll get to it. You'll see what kind of changes from here. So if I go here and get this changed up, I am all kinds of scrambled to get this going. But you'll kind of get what I'm trying to get at here in a second. So let's go to October 2nd versus the Canucks, because this is where it gets really interesting really quick. And I take a look at myself, and I seriously wonder how we've gotten to where we are here on Dolynny TV. I don't know how you guys can even stomach to turn back and look at this guy a couple of times a day, because man, the mug, she's hard looking sometimes. So this is October 2nd versus the Vancouver Canucks 2019. Let's just quickly take a second to appreciate the formation of what I had always dreamed of. Okay, this is this whole background situation and all this beauty, the Connor McDavid jersey that hadn't come around yet. Yeah, okay, look at that. Look at that disaster. There's a pink wall. There's brown wall. There's some kind of white striping, and it's just a mess of stuff bundled to a wall. And here I was coming back from my second season covering the Oilers on YouTube. But the key part of this right here, the key part of this, all right, is the morning skate lines for the Oilers, which is exactly what they rocked going into game one of the season, which, by the way, was a win. She wasn't pretty, but she was a win against the Vancouver Canucks. Nygaard, McDavid, Neal. Draisaitl, RNH, Kassian. Kara, Cave, Archibald. Granlund, Haas, Chiasson. Okay? That's what you were rocking. So Jurco was out with an injury. You obviously didn't have Patrick Russell in there. It was not a good time. Riley Sheahan was also out with an injury, so Riley Sheahan is in the late Colby Cave spot after that. Yeah, that was our lineup. Nurse, Larson, Clefbaum, Bear, Benning. Take out Benning and Clefbaum and add in Jones and Barry, and you've pretty much got the defense. Okay, cool. Smith, Koskinen, goaltending is the same. But take a look at that top six, would you? Would you just please go back here? I will enlarge it all the way. Zoom-o mode. There you go. You want to see a not so good look of my teeth right there. And Nygaard, McDavid, Neal, Draisaitl, RNH, Kassian. So here's the thing. Where in any of that other part of the lineup, or even in the top six, do you have more than 4? If you're counting James Neal being a 20-goal scorer, even this year, because it was prorated to get the draft pick over to Calgary, where in that do you see any other super legit. Like Kassian's legit because he's played there for a season and a half now. But where do you see more than 4, more than 3 legit top 6 forwards? Where do you see guys that have scored more than 40 points in a season outside of Neil, McDavid, Draisaitl, RNH, and especially in that bottom 6? You don't. You simply don't. So to go to that point, my goodness. Yeah, this is bad comparison to that I had the nice beard going and the good hair. Now I got this mess coming out of the shower and whatever the heck this Tony Stark looking thing is on my face right now. But let's just quickly, shall we, flip over to Cap Friendly and do ourselves a favor and take a look at that Oilers roster and see just how much things have improved at the forward depth. You now have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, James Neal, Zach Kassian. 5 are those top 6 guys still there from the start of the year. Fine. Alex Chiasson, still there. Kyle Turris, an interesting addition to the Oilers lineup, adds a guy who has played in the top 6 most of his career, adds a guy who over the past several years, well, you know what? He hasn't had a worse year than, just average this out, stick with me here, 62 games played last year, 31 points divided by 62 times 82. That was on pace for 41 points last season, and everybody says he's on the decline. 23 points in 55 games the year before times 82. That's still 34 points. And then the year before in Nashville and Ottawa, for instance, 51 points in 76 games. Well, you multiply that by 82, that's 55 points. So the guy is literally 2-3 seasons removed from putting up 55 points, and on an 82 game pace hasn't put up less than 34 points in the past, well, ever, pretty much ever. The guy's never failed since his rookie campaigns with the Arizona Coyotes to put up 34 points or less. Maybe, yeah, that is legitimately on an 82 game pace. Kyle Turris is a guy who has never failed to do that. So I guess that's, to anyone saying he's on the decline, he's really guaranteed a 34-point guy. Now you put him in the bottom 6, sure, but right, look at that. That's an addition to the Oilers lineup. We did not have that kind of weapon. When you go back to this lineup here, where do you see outside of McDavid, Neal, Draisaitl, RNH, where do you see in Nygaard, Kassian, Archibald, Cave, Kara, Granlund, Haas, or Chiasson, guys that have consistently through the entirety of their career put up 34 or more points per an 82 game season each of their seasons? None of those guys. So right there, the Edmonton Oilers, my friends, are dramatically better just by adding Kyle Turris. Okay, one example. You're in for a long show tonight. Jujhar Khaira, Josh Archibald still there. Jesse Puljujarvi. Well, this is an interesting situation and one that we're not 100% sure if it solves or hurts anything at this point, but this is a lot of promise. Now you add in Tyler Ennis. Tyler Ennis, a guy who, well, really had a great year in Ottawa, has now found a foothold in the NHL and, well, put up solid little numbers, right? 22 points for Minnesota in 73 games, 18 points for Toronto in 51 games, and 33 points, actually 37 in 70 games for Toronto or Ottawa and Edmonton last year. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, third line, we can probably rock that. That's probably better. For instance, on the third line, then Jujhar Khaira. Yeah, that's better on the third line than Jujhar Khaira. Aha! Right there, right? Now, what else are we missing? Oh, well, Tyson, you're pointing all these examples here. What about, 975K Dominic Cahoon, who is a legit top 6 force on this Oilers team. 68 points in his career, divided by 138 games played, times an 82 game pace. That's a 40-point player in an 82 game season in your top 6. Yeah, we're in the age of prorating. Neil getting a third-round pick over to Calgary. That's a 40-point season out of Dominic Cahoon that you're averaging the past 2 years. Yeah. Suddenly, okay. All right. Let's flip up Tyson's favorite screen one more time. We're in Nygaard and Kazian in the top 6. Do you see legit 40-point seasons? Kazian maybe this year, and Kazian's a much more improved player after playing some time in the top 6 and getting to know McDavid and Draisaitl and RNH and all that. But, right? Look at that. Where do you see that? And where do you see a 40-point guy in Cave? I mean, I hate to point at Cave and say he's not that, because obviously that was never Colby Cave, and to do that right now at this point, everything considered since October 2nd, 2019, wrong, and I apologize for what I just did. Josh Archibald in there, not a 40-point guy. Granlund, not a 40-point guy. Haas, not a 40-point guy. Alex Chiasson's gotten close to 40 points a couple times, but not a 40-point guy. So, Dominic Cahoon. Yes, Dominic Cahoon. Much big improvement to the Edmonton Oilers. Now, well, you add in, what do you say is missing there? Ooh, Tyson saved the best for last. Indeed I did, because there's one last key piece to this lineup you would be missing, and that is Kyler Yamamoto, who's entering a contract year. And yeah, guess what he did in the Oilers lineup? Well, he was there to start the year before. He was there in 18-19. Don't kid yourself. He was, and I'm kind of acting a fool if I'm pretending he wasn't, but 26 points in 27 games for the Oilers. Okay. All right. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, that is solid. Kyler Yamamoto, a guy that definitely solved the injury issues, right? Still had an injury in the NHL level, but not to the extent he had in the AHL level. And suddenly, 26 points in 27 games. Where in that do you find nothing useful? Because that adds right there. Where do you see, one more time, for those of you that have just come to love this screen, where in that do you see Nygaard, Kazian, Neal, Kara, Cave, Archibald, Granlund, Haas, or Chiasson being legit point per game producers at the NHL level? And here's the thing. Yes, you can knock Kyler Yamamoto, say he's not going to do it again, sophomore slump and all that. But no matter what, he's lining up either beside Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl with Nugent Hopkins or Cahoon on the left side. I'm sorry. The recipe to succeed is there. So, to go back to October 2nd, 2019, that scrap roster that somehow made it to 4 games in August against the Chicago Blackhawks, okay? Like, let's just take a second to appreciate that mess outside of the Big Three and the late Colby Cave, that mess of a roster made it to August. That's an achievement in itself. You're not a bottom 7 team. And they played 4 games. You know what? You can say what you will, bad 4 games. But it could have been a bad 3 games and you're done. Or it could have been no games at all. So, how much have the Oilers improved? The proof is in the pudding on that one, ladies and gentlemen. It is a masterclass show by GM Ken Holland of how to improve the Oilers in 13 months and 2 days. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Little satirical take today on this one maybe, but you just have yourselves a great evening and we'll talk tomorrow. I'm up on out of here.